The mighty Mekong has long enchanted explorers, inspired legends, and captivated travelers. From its source high in the snow-capped mountains of Tibet, it majestically flows through 6 countries, snaking its way through the heart of Southeast Asia. Its 4,880-kilometer journey of spectacular biodiversity ends in the sediment-rich and fertile delta of Vietnam. The precious wildlife includes the giant catfish, the Irrawaddy dolphin, and the Siam crocodile, all of them on the critically endangered list. The rich biodiversity ranks the Mekong as one of the great rivers of the world. It is the Amazon of Asia. For countless generations, the river has irrigated the land and provided fish and food security in abundance.
Food, give culture, give for life. Can when you don't have food, you can get food from Mekong River, vegetable, herb, everything, and it's really important for the people. Mekong River same mother. I think Mekong River is mother.
The Thai and Lao words for Mekong, Mei Nam Kong, translates as the mother of waters. But for how much longer will the fast-flowing currents of the Mekong, known as the mother of all waters, shower us with her bounty and her blessings? Dark clouds are gathering. We are heading into a storm of controversy and turbulent times ahead. A cascade of 11 hydropower dam projects are soon to be unleashed on the untamed waters of the Mekong. Dams transform the fast-flowing currents of a healthy river into a series of still water reservoirs. In pursuit of hydropower, is the Great Mekong to be tamed like so many other rivers and be dammed into an eerie silence? "4,000 Islands" is a wetland zone of breathtaking beauty lying in southern Laos. In the rainy season, we can hear the surging water, the raging torrents, the roar over the rapids.
Well, this area of Sipandon, or sometimes known as the Cone Falls in southern Laos, right on the Cambodian border, form an extraordinary ecosystem, but an ecosystem of which people are very much a part. There's nowhere like it in the Mekong, nowhere like it anywhere else in the world. It's a region of outstanding natural beauty. It's already proved itself, of course, in tourism potential.
There's a lot of tourism going on. I think it's still very natural, which is good. Also, you can still see the Lao way of life. What's nice is you can do everything by bicycle as well, so you can travel around the island. It would be very easy for it to just go the way of some other Asian countries, but at the moment it is still the last untouched little gem in Asia, I think, and if they can maintain it the way that it's going at the moment. I'm here in low season and I love it, you know, it's amazing.
One of the most important tourist attractions at the moment are the Irrawaddy dolphins that live just below the Con Falls on the border between Cambodia and Laos, and which are less than 1 kilometer away from the proposed dam site of the Don Sahong Dam.
Thousands of people come here a year to view dolphins. It's a very important part of the local economy. A dam anywhere on the Mekong would have a devastating effect on the dolphins.
Not only dolphins are endangered, fisheries, livelihoods, and the ecosystem are all at risk if the dams go ahead.
Sipandon is very important because it's a really fascinating ecosystem with lots and lots of channels and islands and wonderful falls, and It's teeming with fish at particular points and time in the year.
Fish are vital to the livelihoods of 60,000 people of these islands and to the rural economy of southern Laos. The fishermen of Sipandon take great risks in negotiating the raging torrents and the roaring rapids during the rainy season migration of the large fish. Many of the fish species swim great distances from the Great Lake in Cambodia, and some make it all the way from Vietnam. This is a high-risk profession. One false step by a fisherman on the slippery rocks during the rainy season could be his last. It is dangerous and difficult work tending to their fish traps. When most people are sleeping in their beds, fishermen are often working during the night. But for all the dangers and hardships, fishermen like Art enjoy this life. His work provides both food for the table and fish to sell in the market.
ทำมาหากินเกี่ยวกับป่าผมชอบชีวิตนี่มักการทำมาหากินหาป่าเป็นอาชีพมีความสุขกับคนจับป่าตัวอย่างคือข่อยก็มีความสุขเพราะว่าอาชีพของข่อยเขามักอาชีพนี้เป็นต้นต่อคือหาป่าเพราะว่าฮักที่สุดเพราะว่าป่านี่มันเลี้ยงชีวิตประจำวันของคนเฮาเพราะว่าเป็นป่าเป็นดักจากคนลาวเฮานี่เป็นว่าป่าเป็นอาชีพเป็นว่ากินป่าจากคนลาวเฮาเป็นต้นเป็นว่ามวนแล้วก็มีชีวิตเพราะว่าบ่มีไผสิมาญาติซิงหารวยตนเองแล้วก็บ่มีไผสิบังคับว่าสิไปหาปลาบ่ไปหาปลาบ่น่ะ
The fishermen on various islands sell their catch to the local fish dealer. The large fish are weighed, packed with ice. They are dispatched by boat to Nagansang, the only place connected to the mainland. The most productive freshwater fisheries in the world guarantees food security for more than 65 million citizens of the lower Mekong in Laos, Thailand, Cambodia and Vietnam. For 60,000 people living on the islands of Sipandon, fisheries is the prime source of their livelihood, much more important than rice farming and ecotourism. In Nagasang, many more fish are crammed into ice boxes and packed for the final journey. During 3 months of the rainy season, these trucks bring several tons of fish every day by road to the important Laotian town of Pak Se, further up the Mekong. In Laos, the lives of the people are intimately linked with the cycles of the river and the migrations of wild capture fish. Pak Se Market sells a wide range of foodstuffs. Fish dominates over meat as the major source of protein. Miss La could name 13 different fish species that she sells every day in Pak Se Market. But in fact, 201 species have been officially recorded in the 4,000 islands. When it comes to food and animal protein intake, nothing is more important to Laotian people than fish.
ความสำคัญเพราะว่าปลานี่เลี้ยงชีวิตประเทศลาวได้มีผลประโยชน์หลายอย่างมีวิตามินให้คนลาวกินเนี่ยก็บ่เป็นพยาธิง่ายเฮ็ดให้คนลาวนี่เสพในการประมงบ่มีการเบื่อหน่ายกินได้ตลอดยามมันได้มันสิมี 3-4 ตันขึ้นไปได้เยอะอีนี้ท่วมปากท่วมตลาดเล่าเรื่องนี่ได้อีนี้
Fishing is not only an income for people or a source of food, it's also part of their culture. If they no longer have the fish, what are their alternatives? You know, where can they get food? Many of these rural villages don't have ready access to markets. They rely on fish for food every day.
But are the happy times of plentiful fish as a common source coming to a sad end? No fishing signs have been erected by Lao authorities and the Megafirst Dam Company. The Lao authorities have issued a ban on fishing with the traditional traps from January 2015. This has caused alarm to many fishermen, including Mr. Art.
บ่เดิมเมฆงเนาะเนื่องมากคันว่าถามว่าเขาบ่อยเฮาหาปลากับการทำมาหากินเกี่ยวกับปลาเฮานี่เฮาหากินโดยธรรมชาติเนาะถามว่าเขาหยุดเนื่องมากเขาบ่อยเฮาหาปลาเพราะว่าชีวิตของเฮาจะอยู่ไหนจังได
Across the border from Sipandon, the wetlands and fisheries of the Mekong are also vital to the Cambodian way of life.
The fishery of the Mekong, which we've discussed as being the most productive and important in the world, largely depends on that flood pulse that comes every year. As you know, there's this remarkable phenomenon where the river that connects Tonle Sap, the great Cambodian lake, with the Mekong, reverses its flow every year. When the Mekong is high, water flows into Tonle Sap. The area of the lake at Tonle Sap expands 4 or 5 times. The fish are able to go out into the flooded forest to breed and to feed. This essentially becomes an incredibly productive nursery for the fisheries. The fish then come back down the river into the Mekong and migrate up the river as far as Thailand.
Dr. Sonam is the former director of Cambodia's Fisheries Institute.
Cambodian people totally depend on fishery, as I mentioned, in terms of consumption rate, in terms of protein intake. So it's worth about $250 million at the landing site. And this value contribute to like 8 to 12% of the total GDP of Cambodia. It's very high.
Cambodians view the Sahong Dam as a major threat to fisheries and food security. Anger is brewing among the communities downstream about the Don Sahong Dam. The Lao government has ignored Cambodian calls to stop all construction, including the Xayaburi Dam. China has completed 5 dams on the upper Mekong. The Xayaburi Dam is the first dam launched on the lower Mekong in 2012. Lao government's Deputy Minister of Energy is the key player in their plan to harness every tributary and river for hydropower.
We are very confident that the impacts, if any, would not be significant. We are very confident of that.
The Xayaburi Dam was launched in 2012, even before the required environmental impact studies had been carried out.
Even though there would be impacts or there would be changes to that, it would not be significant, not at any scale.
But many Thai farmers living in the 8 provinces bordering the Mekong do not believe assurances from the Lao side of the river. Thailand's NGOs and farmers have led a series of protests against the dam. Former Thai Senator Krisak Chunavan insisted that the Thai dam builder Chaw Khan Chang should be held accountable.
Chaw Khan Chang operates without environmental studies, or when they do it very poorly. They don't feel compelled to do a comprehensive one. Cho Kan Chang does not respect the law in Thailand or its obligations to the parliament.
The two prime ministers from Cambodia and Vietnam have jointly called on Laos to stop the dam construction. In 2011, the Lao government hired international consultant Poiri Energy to help push the dam ahead.
Sirotsky from Poiri Energy. I'm Director Hydropower for Asia. Poiri Energy is one of the major consulting companies in Europe and also here in Asia. We are a consulting company and we are advising our clients on technical issues and on technical grounds. We show the way forward. How can we move forward with the project? What needs to be done? And when can things be done? A timeline.
The company claimed they could provide an 80% success rate with updated fish pass technology. In Switzerland, fish ladders only deal with a small number of fish, whereas the Mekong has around 1,000 different species. Dr. Hua Meng, German-trained civil engineer, is not impressed by claims about fish mitigation.
Building a fish passage based on experiences of Northern Europe, of Switzerland, and transferring them to the Mekong, to a large tropical river, is just not serious business. This is a dam which is so benign, they claim, that it is virtually not there. This is basically nonsense. It's ridiculous.
Inside the Mekong River Commission, 2 member states are opposed to the dam, Cambodia and Vietnam. But Thailand has backed Laos, leading to a deadlock in the regional consultation. Cho Kan Chang, the dam builder, is Thai. The $3.8 billion project is mostly funded by the Big 4 Thai banks. Thailand's state-owned electricity agency, EGAT, has signed the agreement to buy 95% of the power generated. The anti-dam movement has recently taken legal action to challenge the Xayaburi Dam in a Bangkok court. Charges brought by 37 Thai villagers from Mekong provinces argue that the Thai-Lao agreement is illegal. Their lawyers filed a case against the Thai authorities and EGAT for violations of Thai law, requiring environmental and health impacts to be studied and public consultation to take place. The court ruled in June 2014 that Thai Electricity Authority EGAT and related agencies had to answer the indictment. The farmers and NGOs insist that the agreement to buy the power from this dam should be cancelled. Thai banks are under increasing pressure to review their investment in the dam, and not only from Thai civil society. Strongly worded letters from Cambodia and Vietnam have reminded Thai banks that they should pay more respect to the Mekong's status as an international river. Sarin Ni worked for 8 years as a senior official in the Siam Commercial Bank.
Yes, I think that definitely the letter from Vietnamese NGOs, and I think as well as quite a clear letter from the Cambodian opposition, should serve as wake-up calls, to the banks. Clearly, the investors are getting nervous, as you mentioned about the share price. I think that the banks are now also more nervous. They may not admit it, but I think that they are paying more attention to the case.
The conflict over Mekong water resources is escalating, with a second dam in the pipeline. Amidst the tranquil beauty of 4,000 islands, the noisy intrusion of road construction and machinery is set to scar this unspoilt paradise.
So one of the big developments that's being proposed for this area is the Don Sahong Dam. We're not just talking about a dam here, we're talking about roads that need to be brought in, we're talking about a bridge across the main channel below the Kon Papeng Falls. In terms of the aesthetic, the scenic values, it'll be a dramatic change.
In this Mega First Company video, The Fish Will Find a Way, they claim the fish will find a way to change their habits and their fish migration route. Ongoing fish trials are designed to force a major fish diversion through smaller channels.
The vast majority of fish that migrate up certainly go through the Hua Sahong. The idea to implement measures that would allow fish to go up other channels has been proposed, but the reality is that these measures are very, very risky. And they really won't know the impacts until the dam is already built. And by that time, it's too late to go back.
In any environmental system, but particularly in an environmentally sensitive area like Sipandon or an environmentally significant river system like the Mekong, you don't go ahead with projects and then see what happens. You first make sure you've got it right. You take a cautionary approach.
They plan to dam across the Sahong Channel here. The CEO of the Mekong River Commission is more concerned with mitigation than with caution over the dam.
The procedures, the PNPCA process in itself is not set up as a procedure for identifying whether a project goes ahead or not. Any project that is put forward is trying to minimize and avoid and mitigate negative impacts. So that is the aim of this work.
What we hear also from inside analyses of the MRC do tell us that a dam such as Don Sahong is one that's highly risky at best. A river commission whose CEO has publicly stated that it's quite okay to go ahead with construction even before the studies have been completed and published. To me, this seems to be rather odd and definitely at odds with the precautionary principle.
I think that there is a grave risk that the Don Sahong Dam could lead to increased poverty of rural people who rely on fisheries along the river in Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and in Thailand.
Many scientific studies are being carried out, but the Lao government refuses to halt the dam building and wait for the results.
There's a complete mismatch between the time frame of these studies and the time frame of decision making. There's a great deal of undue haste. If they are so confident in their own science, let's see the results before decisions are made, before we get to the point of no return in dam building.
The key question for civil society and for the 4 lower Mekong nations is not mitigation, but to dam or not to dam.
It could be extremely important for Laos in future if they did protect that area, because it could be one of the great wonders of the world in terms of attracting researchers, attracting eco-tourists.
The prestige of Laos in conservation would be greatly enhanced if it signed up to the Ramsar Convention.
If that dam goes ahead and then you have other dams also being built, then you really are talking about massive calamity.
Vietnam is deeply worried about the cumulative effects on the Mekong Delta.
I think Vietnam in this case has a very big stake. We have to consider how important the Mekong Delta is for the economy of the whole country. Fisheries is very important in the Mekong Delta. Agriculture is extremely important, especially rice production. Vietnam is the second largest rice exporter in the world.
If all 11 dams go ahead, it is widely predicted Vietnam will cease to be a rice exporter in 20 to 30 years' time.
The cumulative impacts of the cascade of the dams could be quite massive. The disaster to the Mekong Delta people. So they share that could be disaster to their lives.
The loss of Vietnamese rice for export would push up world prices. It would be a disaster for global food security. The dam developers are taking a high-stakes gamble with fisheries and food security.
Now, the developer wants all the stakeholders, the people and the governments downstream, to follow him blindly while taking a leap of faith into an uncertain future. And to watch them take a very risky game of roulette based on biased advice. Now, the stakes for 60 million people are just too high for such a gamble. This is just a very, very high risk to go ahead.
If the fish species decline and we witness the slow death of the once roaring Mekong, it will be the people and their livelihoods, not the investors, who will be the real losers. Will the children of the future be asking, where have all the fish gone?
You know, people here, they was born and the Mekong is like blood. Like I said, the Mekong and the river is the principle of life. So if the Mekong destroyed or damaged, I will be sad.